Hi, so this is going to be a video tutorial on how to install Retropie onto a Raspberry Pi 4 with additional options. More specifically, I want to remove the splash screens and start up Kodi on boot. Ironically enough, this is not a straightforward process, and this is why I'm making this video. So the first thing you want to do is navigate your way to the Retropie website, right here. As soon as you're here, go down to the download page and download the Retropie that's for your Raspberry Pi. I'm gonna download. So when you download Retropie, it comes in the compressed form, in the format of GZ. To uncompress it, you may need an uncompression tool such as 7Z, or you can use WinZip. 7Z is a free download, and it takes very little to uncompress your file. Once you uncompress your file, you'll see a folder like this. And inside the folder, you will see the Raspberry Pi image. But before you can install Retropie, you have to prepare your SD card. And you'll need this program or a program such as SD card formatter. Once you download this program, open it up. And it should look something like this. You can name it anything you want, but what you want to do is you want to go to Format Type, Full Erase, or Quick, whatever you prefer. You may want to adjust the format size and format your SD card. Your SD card should be completely empty. As you can see, mine is completely empty. Once that's done, you'll need a Raspberry Pi imager, and you choose the correct one for your Windows. You can go to the Raspberry Pi Foundation up here, and you can download the imager. But I believe the imager they give you is called Etcher. You can also find this Etcher program at this website up here, if you just want to get by itself. However, I'm using a different imager. The imager that I'm using is called, let me just cancel this, is called Win32 Disk Imager. Let's open this up. And you should see something like this. Even in Etcher, you should see something like this. What you want to do is navigate towards to your file, your Raspberry image that you downloaded earlier. This is the one. Click on Open. Oh, here we go. Open the image file because you wanna choose the image file. And once you're here, you want to click on Write. Okay, I'm just gonna pause this until it's done. Okay, we're done. So the next thing you need to do is to take your SD card and stick it into your Raspberry Pi. Now, you're gonna have to do these steps all in one shot. That means that you shouldn't reboot and continue off. Because whenever I tried that, things don't seem to work properly. So I want to start Kodi up on boot, and I want to remove the splash screen. And you want to enable SSH. And I'm going to show you that in just a couple seconds. Okay, I'm starting up Retropie, and you're going to have to follow these directions. Let's give it a couple seconds. Okay, good. That took a while. So the first thing you need to do is configure your pad. There's no way around this, so you're going to have to do this. So I'm just going to randomly pick some buttons and remember them. So pad up, down, left, right, start, select, and left shoulder, right trigger, left thumb, and left hand hook. Hotkey, and OK. So the very first thing you want to do is to get into configurations, and you want to go directly to Raspi-Config. From Raspi-Config, you want to, oops, sorry about that, let's get back in there. What you want to do, the first thing you want to do is change the username and password. You can choose something simple. I typically just use pi and pi and pi. It makes things a lot more simpler. The next thing you want to do is, well, you want to enable SSH. So let's go back here. We're going down to interface options. I'm going down here to SSH, and you want to enable this. This is important. Let's check out boot options. Splash screen, choose graphical splash screen or text boot. You can't really do anything here for that, so there's no point in trying. Let's go back. Okay, so now that we enabled SSH and changed your password, we can get out of this. And we want to go to Retropie setup. Okay, and what you want to do is you want to go to manage packages. You want to go to optional, manage optional packages, and you want to go all the way down to about where is it? It's close to 300. Here it is, 315, which is kodi. And we want to install kodi. Install from precompiled binary, okay. Yes. Sorry, I don't have a pause on this on my phone camera, so you're gonna have to watch through this. You can just forward through this. But after this, the next thing I want to do is I want to remove the splash screen, and I want to start kodi on boot. However, I think there's a glitch in kodi. So we're going to have to go back to my computer and manually do some editing so that if you exit kodi, you can go back to the emulation station. If you don't do that on the command line, it will always boot to kodi and you'll never be able to get back to the emulation station. Okay, that's done. Let's go back. Let's go back. Let's go back. And we're going down to configure tools. Let's take a look at configure tools. Here we go. Auto start. This is the third option down. That's 802 auto start. and it says here to start Kodi at boot. So we're gonna click that one. So now Kodi's will launch at boot, which is fantastic. And now the next thing we want to do, and the last thing we want to do, is remove the splash screen. So let's cancel this. And let's look for the splash screen. It should be here, around here somewhere. Here it is. Splash screen at 839. And what you want to do is you want to disable the splash screen on boot. And you have to do all these steps in this one go without rebooting. Otherwise it wouldn't work. So that is disabled. And you may need to configure the soundbar, but maybe I should just leave that for another file. Actually, no, why not? Let's just give it a shot. Install Retropie Samba Share. Okay, it's done. And we're all done. Let's exit out of this. And let's go back. And let's perform a reboot and see if this works. Okay, now it's rebooting. So hopefully we will get Kodi on start and we'll see no splash screen, because you're not always going to want to see the splash screen. You want to go straight into Kodi, especially if you get home and you're tired. You don't want to spend your time looking at different screens. As much as I would love to see a great, fantastic picture that comes up on my screen, I'd rather get to it. I'd rather get to my shows right away. And there we go. We're starting Kodi. We didn't see no Retropie splash screen. However, the problem, another problem exists, which is that if you try to exit out of this, like if you try to exit out of Kodi, it will not go to the emulation station. So that's the next step I'm going to show you. Okay, we're almost done. So I need to get into the command line of my Retropie. So I'm gonna use a program called Putty to get into the command line. And so I already have Putty. Well, if you don't have Putty, you can go to this website, putty.org. However, I already have Putty, and I'm just gonna open it. You're gonna have to put in your the IP address of your Raspberry Pi. If you do not know your IP address, you can simply just go, well, you can look, there are places you can go, but you can simply just check your router. And your router should have the IP address of your Raspberry Pi or your Retropie. It says here my IP address is, well, this is right here. That's my IP address. So go to Putty, you put in your IP address here. The port is typically 22, so you don't want to alter that. You can give it a name. I called mine RPI4, and then just open it. Earlier we changed our password to pi and pi. It makes things a lot more simpler. So type in the login is pi and the password is pi. You can change to whatever you want, but I suggest just keep things simple. Okay, now that we're in Putty, what we want to do is you want to type in, well, you want to go back to the correct folder. So you want to type in sudo and an su. This means it gives you administrative privileges, so you can start editing files. So as soon as you hit that, it should look a little bit different, just an all white screen. And what you want to do is you want to go back. So you want to type in cd dot dot, type in cd dot dot, and you want to go all the way back as possible. Right now I am as far as I can go. If I type in cd dot dot, it won't go any further than that. And if you take a look here, you have a couple of options. Where you want to go is OPT. So we're going to type in dir opt you wanna in this file there's a file here called Retropie. So I want to type in dir and then Retropie. Oops, something no file exists. Looking. Oh yeah, so we didn't get through. So starting over again, cd opt cd retropie, and inside this file you'll see a file called configs right over here. Configs. So cd configs, and inside this file you'll see another file called all. So cd all, and the file that we want to edit is the auto start right here. If you just want to skip all that and go like directly to the end, you can just type in well, to get into this here, you type in nano and auto start. It will get you into the file. However, if you don't want to go through all that like navigating through the folders, you can just simply type in nano and this entire pathway, followed by, oops, oh, let's get rid of this one here, and then over here backslash auto start. There we go. Let me just make this a little bigger. So this is a bit of a shortcut. Nano is an editor, so when you type in nano in front of something, it opens it up as a text file where you can edit it. So that's what we want to do. We want to open this auto start file, sh file. And over here it says kodi-standalone. For some reason, it doesn't boot into the emulation station when I exit. So what you have to do is you have to remove this standalone and just have it as kodi. And that's it. We'll save this. That's Control X. Save, yes. Keep the name as is, and you're done. Now we can type in reboot here to reboot our Retropie, our Raspberry Pi. We can type in reboot. And once we do that, we can take a look, go straight to my television screen and see what goes on. Back to my television screen, I'm going to go, I already booted Kodi, and there was no splash screen. And if I want to get back into the emulation station, I will go up to the power button. And the only option you can pick that goes to the emulation station is exit. And unfortunately, this is a bit of it takes a little while, and you can take my word for it. You can turn off this video and just do it yourself. Oh no, okay, there it's going there now. But it takes a little while, but once it goes straight to the emulation station. And I will assume that you're mainly a Kodi user, not an emulation station user. So the wait shouldn't be that bad. Okay, there we go. We are in the emulation station, and it looks like everything has worked. And that's it. That's the end of this tutorial.